In today's video, we are going to discuss completing square. That how do we solve a quadratic expression using the method completing square? So what we're going to do over here is first of all we will try to make this expression a perfect square over here, and then we are going to find the values of x. So right now, if you notice, we cannot write it something like a plus b whole squared, right? So what we're going to do right here is, firstly, we have to just make sure that the value of a should be equal to 1. For this question, you can notice that the value of a equals to 1, b equals to 6, and c equals to 5 if you compare these two, okay, with the general equation. So first thing we have to make sure when a equals to 1, okay, so it is equal to 1. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to isolate this much, okay, and I'll just take 5 to the other side. So the equation I got is basically x squared plus 6x equals to negative 5, because this 5 will move to the other side, will become negative 5. Now, there should be a third term over here so that this whole thing can become a perfect squared that we have on the left side. So how do we find the missing term, the third one? In order to find the missing term, what you're going to do is you're going to use this formula right here on the top right. So this states that we're going to do half of b, whatever the b is. B over here is 6. You can notice from here as well. So b is 6. You're going to divide it with 2 and you get 3. And then you're going to take the square of it. So 6 divided by 2 according to the given formula. And that's going to be 3. Square root of 3 is going to be 9. So this means that the third term that's missing over here is 9. So in order to uh, write 9 here, I'm just going to add 9 on both sides. Okay, so plus 9, and on the other side, I got negative 5, and then plus 9. Okay, so I'll have to add 9 on both sides in order to balance the equation. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is, we know that the formula of a plus b whole squared is equal to this whole thing, this whole expression, a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So we can probably try to make this expression similar to this one. So how we're going to do this is basically we can write it x to the power 2 plus 2 times the first term, which is x, times the second term, which is 3, and plus 3 whole squared. So I hope this makes sense, because 9 can be written as 3 squared, and then 6x can be written as 2 times x times 3. So this expression that we got on the left side is exactly something similar to this one. This means that we can just compress this thing equal to x plus 3. We can write it as x plus 3 whole squared. Can we? According to this given equation. Okay, so on the left side, what we're going to get is negative 5 and positive 9. That's going to be positive 4. And I got this whole expression equal to positive 4. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do from here, it's quite simple. It is, I'm going to take square root on both sides. So it's going to be x plus 3 equals to 2. And since I'm taking square root myself, so I'm going to add plus and minus. Okay, because there can be two situations that it can be equal to positive 2 as well and negative 2 as well. So you're going to say x plus 3 equals to 2, and the other possibility is x plus 3 equals to negative 2. So we got the answer, x equals to 3 moved to the other side, and it became negative 1, and x equals to negative 5. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense. But this was the situation in which a was equal to 1, but I'm talking about this a. So there can be a situation when a is not equal to 1. So let's just discuss that example. Alright, so here I got the next example when a is not equal to 1, it is equal to 2. So firstly what I'm going to do is I'll have to make sure that a becomes 1. For that purpose I'm just going to divide 2 on both sides. So the first equation will become x squared, a divided by 2 will be 4x, and 6 divided by 2 will be 3. So I got this equation. Now I'm going to do the same thing as I did in the previous one. I'm going to isolate this much expression. Okay, so that's going to be x squared negative 4x equals to negative 3. Now, what do we do next? Whatever the b value is, we divide it with 2 and we take the square of it. So remember, b divided by 2 and then whole squared. So for this equation, we're going to do negative 4 divided by 2 squared, and that's going to be negative 2 squared, which is positive 4. This means that the missing term we have is going to be positive 4. So I'm going to write down x squared minus 4x. I will be adding plus 4 on both sides. Okay, so it's going to be like this. Now, what do we do next? Let's just simplify it, and we can write this thing as x whole squared negative 2 times x times 2 and then square of 2. Okay, this is something that I can just write this whole expression as uh, the one I have written over here. Can we? And then negative 3 plus 4 will be just equal to plus 1. Now, what do we do next? What we're going to do here, I'm just going to write it as x minus 2 whole squared. And minus because the middle term is negative. And this thing equals to 1. Now, we're going to take the square root just like we did in the previous one, and we're going to isolate x. Now, when we're going to take the square root, so we're going to add plus and minus by ourselves because we're taking the square root and there can be two possibilities. So I'm going to write it with x minus 2 equals to 1 and x minus 2 equals to negative 1. And then I'm going to isolate x just like I did it over here. And on the left side, I'm getting x equals to 3 and the other possible value of x is equal to 1. So that's how we're going to solve the quadratic equations using completing square method. So I hope this makes sense. This is it for today's video. If you guys need any help for mathematics, if you need any one-to-one session or tutoring session, you can just contact me through the given information and we can just book a free 90-minute session and we can discuss and you can see my tutoring style.